Good morning, welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the 0 to Gold Cap Challenge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we are going to be carrying on our type of thing with the modules. So to speak, we are going to be going into smelting as I alluded to yesterday. But other than that, let's get on to the video, which is worth it. And once again, let's go into smelting. Now, when it comes to smelting, we've got to take into account if they're going to sell. Some of the bars don't actually sell, and we've got to pick the right ones. This is great because we can then look at this even if we aren't a smelter. We are enchanter and tailor on this character, but he holds all the gold because he is my pretty much my main. So anyways, that being the case, let's have a look at what we can craft. And already of note is the Enchanted Elementium bars. Now, I am at 260 with my mining, so I will have to do a bit of mining to get myself to 300 in order to learn to do the Enchanted Elementium bars. That means that I will have to, for the rest of the day, just farm up a bit of thorium ore, only mine the rich thorium ore deposits and see if I can get enough up to that. And then once that's done, I can then transmute those into Arcanite bars and shove those on the auction house. Aside from that, we are currently going to look at other things in the meantime. So obviously, I know Enchanted Elementium is like a profit of like 2,600, and the region sell rate is around about 0.12, which is brilliant for bars. So not going to scoff at that right there. That's pretty damn good for like a not even a 1 minute craft. So that being the case, let's have a look at the next best thing, which is Titan Steel bars. Now, Titan Steel bars I can craft for a cost of 495 gold. And I can create those and produce a profit of 608 for one Titan Steel bar. This has the exact same sell rate for it, which is 0.12, and the daily region average daily sold is 3.6. So that's pretty damn good. That's a lot better than the Enchanted Elementium and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to produce about, I don't know, around about 10. So we'll produce like 10 of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we can jump onto our miner, so then we can set up a gathering option in TSM so we can just gather all those materials all together. So that being the case, let's jump over to Corthana. Okay, so Corthana is right here sitting in the bank, obviously, and she's just sat here just doing her jazz and all that jazz. We never actually use those malformed gnashes, so it's probably wise that we just sell them, as we're probably not going to be using them just yet. Or maybe if I look at over here, but that's a work in progress and I'll be working on that in the evening. But at this moment in time, we are on smelting. So jump over to smelting, the flipping module for smelting, and we can then also at the exact same time pull up our smelting on TSM. So that being the case, let's clear the queue. We were going to create some stuff like highborn compendiums and uncanny combatants innovative staff, but that being the case, we'll leave it at there. Now, that being the case, let's just have a look at what we're actually dealing with. So when it comes to all the other different types of things, we are currently just going to have a look at all of this jazz. So with Titan Steel bars, we will go down to Northrend and go over and have a look at Titan Steel. And for obvious reasons, we will have a look at all of this jazz at this moment in time. So that being the case, we are most likely, as it's a fast seller, we're going to go with a min buyout for this. So we're just going to change our min buyouts for all of this jazz and see if it's worth it. So obviously use your noggin when you're doing this, and there we go. We can see that the Enchanted Elementium is actually minus, and so is the Hardened Corium, Titanium bars and all that jazz. The things that are making a decent amount of gold at this moment in time is the Titan Steel bars. Once again, that's still actually posing to be really good. What we were looking at, so that's 362 gold for the Titan Steel bars, and the gold that we'll get back is about 287 gold. So I'm not going to complain about that. That's pretty damn good. So we probably will stick with 20 of those. We'll make 20 of those and sell them on. And when it comes to dark iron bars, that's at a sell rate of 0.05. So ooh, that's a little bit much. But the dark iron ore requires 2. That's going to cost us is going to cost us 77 gold to make 1 dark iron bar, which we can sell on the auction house for 172 gold. So let's have a gander at all this. And I've just realized I don't know how to smelt it. So we will have to learn how to do that, which is something that we may have to bear in mind going on. Now, obviously, I've been deleting my mining and relearning my mining from last year, so I've got to catch up with all of this stuff that I've not got. We've got the Enchanted Elementium thing. It's right in our bags right now. It requires mining 300. And that being the case, the dark iron ore one is found within the is found from Black Rock Depths, I think. Yeah, I think we get that from Black Rock Depths. I will have to double check that, so to speak. So don't quote me on that. It's something I will have to look up. I probably will make a guide on it because it's something that's really handy. So dark iron bars is something that we can't do at the moment, but we'll put a pin in it. And what we're going to go on to now is Trillium Bars. Now we can make 31 gold profit for a Trillium Bar, and it costs us 29 gold to make. So what we'll have a look at is the min buyout 60 gold for this, and it costs us 29 gold to make. So then that means we can smelt Trillium. So let's head up to Pandaria, and that being the case, we will need to learn the Pandara mining, which isn't too hard to learn because I'm pretty certain I can just learn it. So let's have a look at Smelt Trillium. So Smelt Trillium, Pandaran, I just need to farm for like 25 minutes for another bit. So this is actually a pretty good one. We could actually do this in about 5 minutes. So I'm not really too worried about this. So what we'll do is we will then just move over to the other fast selling stuff, which, looking at this at this moment in time, Obsidian is a 0.15 and we can do this one, I believe. Yep, Obsidian is TSM saying 3 gold with that for 1, and my one is saying 1190 gold for that. So that being the case, the region A average daily sold is 32, so 30.2.1, and that means we're gonna have to make a bit of this. So what I'll do for Obsidian is I will make a stack of we will invest 300. We're going to make 300 of this. So what we'll do is we'll bang on 300 to create our obsidian bars, and then we'll go on and have a look at any of the others. So any of the others is ghost iron. So ghost iron bars, they can be crafted at 5 gold 90, and we can make a 3 gold 52 profit. Now this is getting into the lines of, will it actually sell before we have to keep reposting and make a loss? Well, this has a 0.28 sell rate average, and what I would predominantly like to use is a testing method. So we'll stick with 300 again for ghost iron bars, using the ghost iron ore. So that being the case, we will have to jump over and have a look. And now Pyrium bars can be bought for 88 gold, and you can make a profit of 10 gold for this. So that one is a bit of a gamble, that one. I probably won't do that. And then Elementium is pretty bad when it comes to sell rate and all that jazz, so we won't get into that. Saronite's got a good one. We could actually create Saronite, and that is at a 0.28 sell rate. So you know what, we'll do 300 again, make a tester of this and see how much gold we can actually make. I know that the estimated profit for TSM is saying 160, but I'm going with the WorthIT one, and we'll see if we can make any more gold with this. So that being the case, let's have a gander at all of the other different types of bits. And all of the other stuff isn't going to be all that much. So you could make like 69 silver for thorium bars. You could spend 5 gold. 70 silver on thorium bars, but I'm probably not going to do that. That's probably not worth my time. A few others aren't coming up with any listings, but mainly because the data is not there for the min buyout. So that's why you switch over to another pricing metric if things aren't showing. Just a little side note, when it comes to transmog module, if you move it to your region historical, it should come up with everything. So yeah, just so you know. Aside from that, let's have a gander at Cobalt. Cobalt's going to cost us quite a bit for a 5 gold on that, and that is at a 0.30 sell rate. So let's have a look at Cobalt. We are most likely going to go with, if we look at Cobalt, actually Cobalt is actually near on the exact same, so that's pretty cool. With Cobalt, I'm thinking doubling that, so 600 of the Cobalt will grab those and shove those on the auction house. And when it comes to true silver bars, they're at 0.13, and it's going to cost us 1 gold 63. So with true silver, I'm going to bang on another 300 of these. So we're just going to get started with the smelting module. Obviously, I've had to relearn a load of stuff when it comes to mining and smelting, so I will crack on and get that sorted so we can then basically make sure about all this. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna have a go at seeing if I can craft any others. So steel bars can be crafted for 5 gold 60, and we can make a 5 gold 95 profit from that. The sell rate is 0.20, so that's pretty damn good. So what I'll do with steel is we'll make 300 again of these, and then we shall have a look at some others. So Saronite's pretty good. We've already done Saronite, so we'll see how that fares. And Ghost Iron Bars, we are going to be doing 300 of those. Now, any others less than this is probably not worth our time because of the auction house fee and all that jazz, so we need to take that into account as estimated profit. AH tax, sell rate, and price fluctuations are not taken into account with this flipping module. So just make sure that you are aware of this when you're actually using WorthIT. It is literally real-time data that you're playing with. So just make sure to double check what you're actually doing. So Corium bars have a sell rate of 0.08. The region average daily sold is 2.4, and the cost is 849 gold for a profit of 569 gold. So what I am considering for that is not a lot, because I'm going to have to relearn all of that stuff. But that being the case, I think that it's probably not worth our time to actually do, as the sell rate's pretty bad for it, and we'll have to crack on with there. So what we're going to have to do now is just have a look at all of the other different types of stuff. So let's have a look at the other things of note. So what we can do is we can then have a look at a load of other things, so like prospecting. And at this moment in time, Osmanite Ore is roughly on the min buyout 3,500 gold, and for Osmanite Ore it is 1,464 gold profit for buying Osmanite Ore at the moment from the min buyout. Now, that being the case, I think that is probably a good way to go, so we'll just remember that, put a pin in it, and we'll crack on and buy all of our different types of bits. So that being the case, let's just gather up all of this stuff, make a shopping list, a lovely little shopping list, and let's just log out. And back into Giblet. So obviously today I wanted to go a bit more in depth with the smelting module. Obviously I'm a little bit behind with my mining because I've had to delete it and relearn it. So not overly too keen on that being the case. But I'm sure we can actually do something about that. It's not going to be that too hard to actually do. So let's jump onto our caravan Brutosaur. And we've got roughly around about, we've sold Micro Sunblade Micro Defender for 24 gold. That's pretty good. No, I'm joking. That's pretty bad. That being the case, let's have a gander at all of the other stuff. So let's go into shopping. And Osmanite Ore is saved as my favourite. And there is a load at 17 gold. So what we're going to do now is we're going to invest in our prospecting. So we're going to buy 1,000. No, let's buy 2,000 Saronite Osmanite Ore. And we're going to then prospect that. So 35,000 gold invested into Osmanite Ore. And then let's have a gander at all of the other stuff for our shopping list. So let's have a look at Eternal Earth. So Eternal Earth's really, really cheap. And it's worth us just buying all off of the auction house. So what we'll do is we will buy 20 of those. Because we need 20 of these. And remember TSM's one goes from the for the auction house, but we can actually account for this by having a look at the flipping module for the frozen orb, as it already brings up all of the data. And at this moment in time, the flipping for earth, water, air and life is not going to be there. Now shadow isn't actually on the WorthIT add-on at this moment in time, but I intend to add it in. It's going to be on the whiteboard pretty damn soon, because I noticed this the other day and I may have missed it. Sorry. Eternal Fire is pretty damn good, and it's at a sell rate of 0.17, so that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. So it's actually cheaper for us to source our shadow and our earth from the vendor, so the frozen orb flip. So we're going to save some gold there for making our Titan steel bars. Now, that being the case, let's go over to iron ore, and then it's 4 gold 75, and we need about 600 of those. So 600 iron ore, and we'll just buy that out right now. And so that being the case, let's just gather on and go down the list. So we're going to buy the Eternal Fire and Eternal Shadow from the vendor in Dalaran. So what else we're going to need is Cobalt Ore, so Cobalt. So Cobalt. So Cobalt Ore is 14 gold for that. We want to create a load of this, and we only have, and at this moment in time, we have around about 72, 73. So 73 of those. We're going to buy. We're only going to buy the 66, so we can't do the full craft, but we will buy the 66 because there's not a lot on the auction house. It's going to cost us 1,000 gold. And the next one I would say is the Saronite Ore. So Saronite Ore, and we'll jump into there, and we've got quite a lot of this on the auction house, and it's 2 for every 1 for the Saronite Ore. And what we need is 600 of those. So that being the case, let's just buy all of this. So let's do that. So Saronite Ore, we're going to then just do that by Saronite Ore, 6,837 gold. It's actually just over the min buyout, but we can still make that gold back. And the other one is Obsidian Ore. So Obsidian Ore, and we'll have a look at Obsidian. And while we're here, we'll pick up 600 Ghost Iron Ore. 600 Ghost Iron Ore. We'll buy that out right now, and we'll go back and let's have a look at Obsidian. So Obsidian Nuggets, and that's not what I wanted. The other ones of note is the True Silver Ore, which is valued at... this is the problem that you get with min buyout in the flipping module. If you were going to do like a mass thing with this, look at this. It's going to go off of that as the min buyout, because that's the minimum one on the actual thing for True Silver. And therefore, if and it will always calculate something along those lines just by that metric and not everything that's underneath. So that's why I go with market, DB market. It's a lot easier to use. So that being said, let's have a gander at all of this jazz. And we will skip the true silver ore. We're not going to create true silver bars because that's not a lot of profit for a risky investment, and I do not want to be risky when it comes to bars because they either sell fast or they don't. So let's just jump down and have a look at the obsidian once again. Let's have a gander. So we're just going to type in obsidian. Obsidium. Obsidium, not obsidian, and they're all really nice. They're all the same. So what we'll do is we will buy 600 obsidian ore. It's going to cost us, oh, we can't actually buy it all, so we'll just do 500 and we'll do that. So we've had to make a bit basically because the market is pretty naff. So what we'll do now is we will pull in, and that being the case, we can then pull in all of this stuff, and while we're here we might as well go through the gold for the day. So the gold for the day is 13,783. We haven't had any mount sales for the last couple of days. It's pretty weird. Usually we sell them out like every day, don't we, guys? Or every other day. It's usually quite frequent, so I don't know what's going on there, but we're definitely going to get into crafting more mounts, which I'll get later on in the video. Aside from that, the maroon ink, we sold 195 of that for 7,338 gold. We also sold 25 Lion's ink for 1,175 gold. We sold 58 ink of the sky for 1,194 gold, and 4 Bloods of the Mountain for 2,681 gold. So 13,000 gold, well, 13,700 gold altogether. So that's bringing in back in some of our gold for that module. And before we actually start sending all of this stuff over to their respective people, we're going to have to port over to Dalaran, or Northern Dalaran, in order to get hold of our Frozen Orb Flip. Now, we can now close this task manager down, because when she goes over, when Corthana goes over to the blacksmith guy, she's obviously going to buy all the coal to make the steel bars, so that's not too bad. And when we're smelting, I'll go into what I'm planning on doing going forward with all the other different types of professions and all of that jazz. So obviously gold's a little bit weak at this moment in time. That's mainly because we've started running out of all of the good selling stuff and we need to restock. So flipping is a good way to supplement, but at the end of the day, if you don't have the original means of making gold, you're not going to get very far. So we need 40 of these frozen orbs, and we're just going to do that. We get it at a cheap discounted price, mainly because of our reputation. And now we're going to jump over. So if you've leveled through the Northrend zones, you've probably got the reputation to give you the discount. There you go. This isn't an in-depth guide to the Frozen Orb Flip. I do have one, however, so it will be over there at some point. So 20 Eternal Fires, and when it comes to the Frozen Orb, we will now have a look. And Frozen Orb, see? Frozen Orb, if we bought it off the auction house and we didn't take the flip into account, it's going to cost us 91 gold. So that's why we double check with the with WorthIT's Frozen Orb Flip to save us gold on even just crafting Titan Steel Bars, even for the Mechanized Chopper, or Titan Steel Bars in general. So with Shadow, we're going to buy some of this, and when it comes to all of that jazz, we actually still managed to get hold of it because the min buyout on this is 121 gold. No thank you, I'd rather pay 60. And that being the case, we can now divvy this up to the guys going forward. So a load of it's going towards Dala, so Dala GG, the one with the little weird hypheny thing on top of the A. And then we're just going to send over all the Osmanite ore, and we'll go through what we're doing with that. And when it goes to Corthana, we're just going to send over all of this stuff to her so she can craft all of the different bars to post on the auction house, and we can go from there. So that being the case, we've just sent over all of this stuff. We have invested around just over 200,000 gold in the last 2 days. This will come back to us. Don't you fret. Yeah, so it just takes a little bit of time in order to get back to it, especially when you're doing random flips like this. It will come back to you. Just be patient and you will see a return on your investments. Half of the time it is just being scared of actually doing the investment and wondering if you're going to get the gold back or not. I'm overly not too worried. I'm just deleting a load of gold from the thing, from my bag, and then we shall get hold of all of this stuff. So once Titan Steel bars sell, once all of the other ores sell, we can be pretty golden. It's just a case of resupplying the flip and keeping that updated. So it'll be just like the same with the mounts. We invested so much into the mounts, and then after the setup was completely done, if you remember right, we managed to pull in a 10 ton of gold like each and every day. So it's the same concept, but just on a little bit of a smaller scale when it comes to ores, flipping and milling and all that jazz. You have to be patient is the core concept to this. So let's pull up our smelting, and what we'll do now is we will just see what we've actually got, and we will now have a gander. So we'll go into filters, we'll say have materials, and we'll go back to the list and what we have for the materials, and it didn't actually save, but oh well, that's not a problem. So we'll create smelt ghost iron bars. We're gonna just stand there. So that being the case, let's get into what I plan on doing going forward. Now obviously I'm not just going to stick with flipping. That's a terrible way of making long-term gold, so to speak. Well, not long-term gold. It's more of a supplementary method when you're doing your milling, your disenchanting, your prospecting and all that jazz. It is a supplementary thing where it just gives you a nice little uptick every now and then when you're actually doing this. So it's something you would check on the weekly, much rather than, oh, it's a daily craft. No, it's a weekly craft, mate. It's a weekly craft. So what I plan on doing going forward is by using an add-on called Executive Assistant. Now I was talking to Bunny about this add-on a while ago. She actually mentioned it to me, and I've just checked it out now. Now, I usually have a crafting list already written out on a notepad, but this is much better. I'm finding this to be absolutely amazing. I'm getting really into it. So I've worked out what I need on my tailoring. I need Uncanny rank 2 or Uncanny rank 3 to make the crafted gear in order to make the gold back for that, so we can invest more into the Uncanny stuff. Because that's eye level 400 gear, people will buy that for their ults, especially coming up to the new expansion. They will just buy that stuff and leave their ults with it, so they're not going to be overly too concerned by that. When it comes to Jewelcrafting, Uncanny rank 3 staff craft, you can make a staff through Jewelcrafting at rank 3. I have that, so that's why I've said it's a craft and it's on a weekly reset, especially with the 2 times of the Panther mounts, because they're always profitable. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are going there. So it'd be crafting 2 of the mounts every week and then posting those on the auction house. I haven't taken into consideration the Onyx Panther yet, because we still are not a near enough amount of gold to invest in that weekly. That would be more along the lines of once we've got to like 1 million liquid gold for investments, because we had 500,000 liquid, and this is to invest into all of our professions, so to speak. So we need to upgrade a load of stuff. Now obviously this is a work in progress, so just bear that one in mind. And jumping onto this as well is the engineering. I need to get my engineering skill up to 175. And we also need to learn the Uncanny ranks for the 2 maces, eye level 400 maces, And we're also going to try and get hold of the supercharged engine recipe, because that's actually very profitable when you're making the ATV, along with the gyro-synchronous world spinner craft every week. And when it comes to the turbocharged flying machine, I just learnt how to link the things. I didn't think you could do it, but you can. So that's pretty damn cool. I'm really happy with this, and I'm definitely going to spend the rest of the evening working on how you actually manage to get a hold of all this stuff. So that is basically a rundown of everything that I'm doing at the moment. We're just going to go through all the smelting, the prospecting, and then we're just going to bung it all on the auction house and see what happens. So hopefully we do quite well. But that being the case, I'm going to go through my list while we're smelting and just edit all of this stuff, so we've got a massive overview going forward. Now tomorrow should be the blood infusion if we get it right. Fingers crossed we get it right this time. I just need to make sure, remember that I've got 3 stacks on me, then I can kill the boss instead of 2. I need 3. So that being the case, hopefully the blood infusion will come out tomorrow. And after that will be the frost infusion for the following day. That being the case, guys, have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall see you on the next video, which will be tomorrow. Have an awesome day, guys, and I shall see you soon.